you can rest assured that this Krishna consciousness movement is going to spread all over the world in every town and village. Do you know who made that prediction? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made that prediction. And who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of God. Now, can the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead go in vain?
No.
No. God's words are the absolute reality. Like God said, let there be light, and there was light. Just He wished. He didn't even have to say it. As He wishes, it happens. How did this material nature become manifest? How did this material nature become manifest? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when He says that this Krishna consciousness movement will spread in every town and village, it is bound to happen. It is bound to happen. So we should not have any doubt. Now, one thing we must also consider, I don't know how many of you know that Srila Prabhupada mentioned that whatever he had done is the 50%. How many of you know that statement of Srila Prabhupada? How many of you do not know? Okay, so I'll just tell you. You see, in 1977, Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and Prabhupada's health condition was quite bad. As you all know, Srila Prabhupada left this planet in November 1977. So this was maybe in about July, because it was before Srila Prabhupada left for the West. Prabhupada came to London in August. It was before Prabhupada left, and Prabhupada's health condition was not so good, and Prabhupada was, you see, one of us used to be with Srila Prabhupada at night, from 10 to 12, one shift, 12 to 2 was one shift, 2 to 4 was one shift, and 4 to 6 was another shift. My shift was from 12 to 2. The most ecstatic time. So, we just had to be there. Sometimes Prabhupada used to translate, sometimes Prabhupada used to just take rest. Sometimes Prabhupada couldn't take rest. It was one such night when Prabhupada couldn't take rest, and I was massaging Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada just started to speak. My health is so bad, and there is so much to do, and I can't do anything. So I naturally responded saying, Srila Prabhupada, what you have done is inconceivable. No one has ever done what you have done. So you should not feel that there is anything left to be done. So you should just relax. So Prabhupada said, no, what I have done is 50%. And the other 50% is to establish Varnasrama. And then Prabhupada said that not that everyone will become a devotee. Those who won't become devotees, for them we need Varnasrama. And in this note, Prabhupada kept on speaking. And so at that time, I did not really say very much. And today I'll admit that at that time I was just a new devotee, so a lot of the things that Prabhupada said went over my head. In the morning I told Tamal Krishna Maharaj about what Prabhupada said. And in his diary, Tamal Krishna Maharaj mentioned that. Only the time factor has been mixed up a little bit. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj in his diary wrote that I was with Srila Prabhupada from 5 to 6 o'clock. And at that time Prabhupada spoke to me about that, about 50% of his work not being done. But actually it was around 5:30 that I spoke to him. And it actually happened. Anyway, it's a small detail. Anyway, so this is the thing. Prabhupada mentioned that whatever he has done, whatever he had done, was 50%. And the other 50% is to establish Varnasrama. We just took it like that. And now, many devotees have that, knowledge of that statement. And many devotees have their ideas. We also had, anyway, various ideas were there. What Prabhupada meant by this 50% and establishing Varnasrama. Recently it occurred to me actually that Prabhupada said 50%. So 50% of what? That's what occurred to me. 50% of what? And it occurred to me that when Prabhupada said 50%, then that 50% of what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted. That Krishna consciousness movement would spread all over the world in every town and village. That is the mission. So the 100% would actually mean, what is the meaning of the 100%? Completion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction. And that would entail establishment of Varnasrama. And mind you, Prabhupada's statement, not that everybody will become a devotee. Those who want to become a devotee, for them we need Varnasrama. Those who won't become devotees, for them we need this structure. Now what is the structure? The structure is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So Brahmanas are the head of the society, those who are situated in the mode of goodness. Kshatriyas are the administrators, warriors, kings. Vaishyas are the traders, and Sudras are the workers. Now mind you, in this age of Kali, practically everyone has become a Sudra. Ashuddha Sudra Kalpahi Brahmana Kali Sambhava. In the age of Kali, even the Brahmanas will become as contaminated as the Shudras, as degraded as the Sudras. So practically, the whole society is a society of Shudras. And there are some Vaishyas. How they are dealing with their occupation, that's another thing. Like, for example, the Vaishya, the occupation or the business of a Vaishya is Krishi Goraksha Vanijya. Cultivation of food, protection of cows, and trading. Business. Business means supplying to the society what's needed. So the occupation of a Vaishya has been described as catering to the needs of the society. Catering to the needs of the society. But you know what is today's definition of business? Huh? Well, that's a nice way of putting it. He said making money is... Definition of business today is the noble art of cheating people. So anyway, so at least there is hope. That's what I was saying. What they're doing, that is, irrelevant, but there are Vaishyas, some Vaishyas. Prabhupada said through ISKCON he is creating Brahmanas. So Brahmanas are there, through ISKCON Brahmanas are being created. Sudras are there, the whole society became Sudra. Some Vaishyas are there. Then what is missing? Kshatriyas. The warriors, the rulers, the kings. Now in democratic world, there is no room for Kshatriyas. Democracy doesn't allow the Kshatriyas. Therefore, apparent Kshatriyas, there are some so-called Kshatriyas. You know who are the Kshatriyas in today's world? Who have their own law, who give protection to their followers, who pay them the tax or whatever. And they give them protection. Kshatriya's business is to give protection. So who are in today's world? There is some semblance of some Kshatriyas, and they're the mafias. Because the democratic world doesn't allow the Kshatriyas to function, therefore they have gone underground. And anyway, the point is, the democratic world doesn't allow the Kshatriyas. But Varnasrama means the Kshatriyas. The Brahmanas are there, Vaishyas are there, Sudras are there. So what is missing is the Kshatriya community. So whole world becomes Krishna conscious means monarchy is re-established. Kshatriyas are ruling. How the Kshatriyas function? Do you know how the Kshatriyas function? Kshatriyas don't buy things or get things by paying money. That is Vaishya's business. Buy things with money. And motivate people, those who are motivated to work for money, they are Shudras. So in that respect, I remember at one point when Prabhupada was mentioning about the Kshatriyas, there is no Kshatriyas, I actually asked Srila Prabhupada, or I mentioned, Srila Prabhupada, what about the military, the soldiers? They are Kshatriyas. Aren't they Kshatriyas? You know what was Prabhupada's response? No, they are not Kshatriyas. They are mercenaries. There is a difference between Kshatriyas and mercenaries. Mercenaries are those who fight for money. They get the paid soldiers. They are soldiers not because they have that intense urge to pursue that career, but because they're getting paid for that. A Kshatriya will not buy things. Kshatriyas will get things with their power. You know what a Kshatriya's attitude is like? He will go and see some kingdom and say, well, I like it. So he'll send a proposal to the king, give me your kingdom, or come and fight. So, and in the battle, whoever wins will enjoy the kingdom. The Sanskrit word for that, Vira Bhogya Boshundhara. Boshundhara means earth planet. And Vira means warrior, the heroes. And Bhogya means enjoyed by. This world is meant to be enjoyed by the heroes. So, anyway, I do not know how it is eventually going to happen. But when Prabhupada says that establishing Varnasrama, that would mean the whole world is following the human society has been structured in this way. The Brahmanas are giving the advice, guiding the society. The warriors are protecting the society from external and internal injuries. Vaishyas are catering to the needs of the society, and Sudras, as the youngest brothers, are taken care of by the other three classes of the society. Now that is the perfect human society. This is the society, this is how Krishna structured it. Chatur Varnam Maya Shrishta Guna Karma Vibhavasa. These four Varnas has been created by me. Maya means by me and Shrishta means created. These four Varnas, four classes of human society has been created by me, Krishna is saying. Guna, karma, vibhagasa. According to one's propensity, karma, and the modes of material nature. Individuals, every individual is affected by the modes of material nature. And accordingly, they develop their characteristics. Those who are affected by the mode of goodness, they are Brahmanas. Those who are affected by the mode of passion, they are Kshatriyas. Those who are affected by the mixed mode of passion and ignorance, they are Vaishyas. And those who are affected by the mode of ignorance is Shudra. So this is how the four divisions have been made according to one's propensity that has been developed by the influence of the modes of nature. Not only the human beings have been affected by that, by the modes of nature, we find even the animals are also affected by the modes of nature. Birds are also affected by modes of nature. For example, lions are in the mode of passion, whereas the cows in the mode of goodness, affected by the mode of goodness. And you see what a difference in their nature, in their character. Cow's nature and lion's nature. Both are animals. Then what makes that difference? The modes. Mode of goodness, the cows are in the mode of goodness, and lions are in the mode of passion. Dogs are in the mode of ignorance. Swans are in the mode of goodness. Crows are in the mode of ignorance. Eagles are in the mode of passion. Even the birds and animals are affected by the modes. And accordingly they develop their nature. So, according to their natural propensity, they will become engaged in their occupation. Today, are they being engaged according to their natural propensities? No. Today, people are being engaged by the amount of money they can get. There was a time when engineers were getting good money. Everybody wanted to become engineers. Then doctors are making good money, so everybody wanted to become doctors. And now IT engineers are making good money, so everyone wants to go for IT. So, irrespective of their natural tendency, like people are just accepting their occupation according to the money they will earn. A person who likes to write poetry ends up becoming a factory worker. Because by writing poetry he is not going to earn his living. He is not going to make his money. So, whereas being a factory worker, you get some good salary. Somebody who wants to become a painter ends up becoming a taxi driver. And on the other hand, somebody who is meant to become a Sudra, he is dressed up like a king and becomes a political leader. So, it's only concern and consideration is the money they will make. And as a result of that, no one is happy. But consider the person who likes to do something inherently, and that is his natural propensity, then won't he be happy just doing that? So, that is why Varnasrama is the perfect arrangement. Everybody can act the way he wants to. Some people study, teach, okay, fine, do that. They're Brahmanas. Somebody like to fight, do that. Kshatriya. But everybody has his occupation. Kshatriya. The word Kshatriya means Kshatat Trayate iti Kshatriya. Kshat means injury. The one who protects the society from external and internal injury is a Kshatriya. That's his business, to protect the society. The Vaishyas, their business is to cater to the needs of the society. They like to do that. In simple words, yeah, some people like to make money. Okay, go ahead and make money. And what's the best way to make money? Besides robbing a bank. The best way to make money is trading. I had a Jewish friend, he once told me, the training that, or upbringing, training that they get, that get the things where it costs nothing and sell it where it costs the most. And he told me his first transaction was his elder brother had a collection of marbles, like that for playing marble. And so he told his brother, look, you don't need them. So why don't you give it to them? Give it to me. And so I think finally he settled for some price, which was practically nothing, because his brother didn't need it. So he got those marbles, and he went to his school friends, and he sold those marbles to them for a good profit. So that is the Vaishya's business. Cater to the need, like get it from where it is not needed and bring it to a place where it is needed the most. And that's what they would do. They would take things from here, take there, and sell them because there it's needed, and take things from here where they don't need it and bring it here and sell it. Like that. No, it was a very adventurous occupation actually those days. Like they would go to places like Madagascar where all the spices are available. And they would bring those spices to India. Then bring silk from India and bring it to Europe. Silk and other kinds. Anyway, this is how they would all do the trading. And those who can't independently become engaged. For them, as they call it, self-employed. Those who cannot employ themselves, for them, the occupation is there. Okay, function under others' guidance. That is Shudras. The Shudras only take the direction from others. Vaishyas, Kshatriyas and Brahmanas will not take the direction from others. They'll have their own way to do things. Like, they would take guidance from higher class, like the Kshatriyas would take the guidance and the Brahmanas will guide them. So much so that the Brahmanas were expert in all kinds of Vedic art, like, say for example, astrology. So the king is going to go for a fight, to fight against some enemy. The Brahmanas will make some astrological calculation and tell them which is a good time to go to fight and so forth. They'll say, don't go now, wait for 2 months. When the influence of Mars in your favor, then you go and attack. So this is how the Brahmanas will guide the Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas will function under their supervision. And on top of everything, the Kshatriyas never would consider the kingdom to be their kingdom. They would understand, they would recognize that the kingdom belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, with a small story, I will end my presentation. I was just recalling that incident the other day. Shivaji, you all know who Shivaji was. Especially those who are from Maharashtra, they know very well. Anyway, all Indians know Shivaji. Shivaji's guru was Ramdas, a devotee called Ramdas. So one day Shivaji was standing on his roof of his palace in Satara, in his fort in Satara. And he saw that his guru is singing and going from door to door, chanting the name of the Lord, singing, and going from door to door, begging. So Shivaji considered, why my guru is begging? I am his disciple. So why does he need to beg? So he wrote in a piece of paper that all that I have belongs to you, because I belong to you. So please accept all that I have. So and he sent his bodyguard to put it in the bag of his guru as he was begging. So next morning, Guru Ramdas came to Shivaji and told him, see, you have given your kingdom away to me. So you don't have anything now. So come, let's go together and beg. Shivaji did that. It's a very beautiful poetry, describing that by Tagore actually. And this line has been described that Eje dekhi jole bhashe shila. That seeing that the king going from door to door begging appears to be like a stone floating in water. Just as it's impossible for a stone to float in water, it is as impossible a sight to see that the king is begging from door to door. So, and then the whole day they went begging. Then in the evening they came to the bank of the river and they took bath. And his guru is singing a song, a bhajan, saying that, my Lord, why are you playing with me in this way? Everything belongs to you. Why do I develop this mentality that I consider that they belong to me? So, and this is the theme of that song. So Shivaji got the understanding. So this was the Vedic understanding, that everything belongs. Even the king would think that everything that he possesses belongs to the Lord. Nothing belongs to him. So this is the Vedic culture, and Srila Prabhupada has given it to us. Even a king thinks that nothing belongs to him. That's why a king at certain age could leave everything and go to the forest. Nowhere in the history of the world has been there an instance when a king has given up everything and went to the forest. There has been instances that the father killed the son killed the father for the sake of the kingdom, brother killed the brother, and minister killed the king. There's so many such instances. But the Vedic history is completely different. The king voluntarily gave up his kingdom, walked into the forest, penniless, nothing, took nothing with him, just walked into the forest. Why? Because they maintain that mood of detachment, that nothing belongs to them, everything belongs to Krishna. I was just remembering the first two lines of that poetry by Rabindranath Tagore. I'll try to recite, I try to recall that. It goes like, Boshiya Prabhat Kale, Shetarar Durgo Bhale, Shivaji Herilo Ekdin, Ramdas Gurutar, Bhikkha Mage Daredar, Firiteche Jeno Annohin. Boshiya Prabhat Kale, one day, sitting, Shetara Durga Bhale, one morning, Shivaji was sitting on the roof of his fort in Shetara. And he saw Ramdas Gurutar, his guru, Ramdas, Bhikkha Mage Daredar. He's going from door to door begging. Firiteche Jano Annohin, as if he doesn't have any food to eat. So, anyway, this is the culture. This is the proper human culture. And this culture needs to be established in this world. And then only this world will become like Vaikuntha. And it will happen. It will happen. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that it will happen, and it will happen. And now our responsibility is to try to do whatever little we can towards that accomplishment. Just as drops of ocean fill up the water. So we shouldn't think that, well, my contribution is so insignificant, my endeavor, my effort is so insignificant. It doesn't matter. No matter how insignificant it is, make that effort. And the collective effort of so many will amount to a huge accomplishment. So please recognize that that is the goal that you have. That is the mission that Srila Prabhupada has given us, and we have inherited that legacy from Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. Does anybody have any question? Krishnajan? Yeah, like mode of passion means predominantly the mode of passion. The modes are always mixed in the material nature. Even goodness is mixed in the material nature. The pure goodness is available only in the spiritual sky. This is sattva gun, but shuddha sattva, vishuddha sattva. This is here, it is mishra sattva. But shuddha sattva is in the spiritual world. Similarly, mode of passion also is not completely passion, mixed with goodness and sometimes with ignorance also. It can be. But predominantly the mode of passion. And personalities like Yudhishthira Maharaj, yes, he is in the mode of mixed, like passion with goodness. Like when it came to fighting, Yudhishthira Maharaj was a valiant warrior. But his nature was quite affected by the mode of goodness. Yes, Radharani?
Guru Maharaj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that this movement is going to continue for 10,000 years. So why is it going to stop after 10,000 years, and how?
Well, when it says 10,000 years, that means for 10,000 years it will be, very prominently established. But then naturally it will be, the decline will be gradual. Mind you, this is just the beginning of the age of Kali. Kali's duration is 432,000 years. And only about 500 years have elapsed. 5,000 years have elapsed. So another 427,000 years to go. So this is actually Kali's morning, early morning. And then gradually, but sandhas are critical time. And sandha, the effect becomes very intense. So at the beginning, the influence of the age of Kali has become very, very intensified. Like we are seeing, the situation is very, very critical. And we are seeing how rapidly things are degenerating. Like for example, consider 50 years back, how was the condition of this world? And within 50 years, what has happened? So that is how rapidly things are actually progressing, degrading, not progressing. So this is the Kali Sandha, but then by Mahaprabhu's mercy, Krishna consciousness will be established all over the world. And for 10,000 years, Satyuga will prevail. Then the decline will be gradual. I don't know how long it will take, but gradually it will degenerate. And finally, at the age of this, say 427,000 years down the road, we can't even imagine what the condition is going to be. But Bhagavatam is describing that the paddy, grain growing plants will become like grass. The fruits will have only the seed, the stone and the skin, no pulp inside. And the cows don't give any milk. So what will be the food? What will people eat? So people actually, will turn into cannibals. Anyway, but at least we can rejoice that we have derived the unusual, inconceivable benefit of the age of Kali. That is, Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha. Kalir doshe nidhe rajan vastihi eko mahan guna. Although the age of Kali is extremely degraded, this age has one great advantage. That is, just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can achieve the perfection of his life. Yes, Archana?
When and who will be in charge of detecting the Varna under which an individual will be?
Good point. Like, who will be in charge of detecting and deciding the Varnas? Good question. So ISKCON will do that. That means those who are in the top of the society, they will determine. Not only determine, it's a matter of facilitating. It is not a matter of telling, oh, you are a Brahmana, you are a Kshatriya, and so forth. From their activities, from their characteristics, from their nature, it will become obvious. Oh, you like to fight? Go ahead, fight. Not fight unnecessarily. It should be with a purpose. Fight to protect the society. And the society needs two-pronged protection. Protection not only from external enemies, but also by establishing law and order internally. That is the responsibility of the Kshatriyas. Law and order. Crime and punishment. That's the business of Kshatriya. You have committed a crime, you meet the punishment. Yes.
Yeah, we understand that.
Radha Mohan, I'm seeing after a long time.
I'd like to go to Croatia, but it wasn't possible. We understand that, let's say, 5,000 years from now, we'll be more or less, it'd be like Satyuga on the earth, because it'd be in the middle of the golden age of Lord Chaitanya. And I was wondering what that would be like in terms of, would everyone in the world be a Gaudiya Vaishnava? Or would it just be the fact that people would be God conscious according to their own local cultures?
Okay, very good point. Yeah, Radhamohan's point is, question is, like what will happen, what will it look like when world has become Krishna conscious? Does it mean that everybody has become a devotee at that time? Or is it that everybody has become God conscious? Okay, then I go back to Prabhupada's statement, what Prabhupada told me when he said about 50%. He said, not that everyone will become a devotee. Those who won't become a devotee, for them we need Varnasrama. So, in simple words, we can say, ISKCON is for the devotees. Right? But there will be many people who won't join ISKCON, who won't become pure. Devotees means, ISKCON devotees means pure devotees. Unmotivated, unconditional, uninterrupted devotion. So those who won't fall in that, meaning those who will function according to their character and propensity. Right? Like for them, we need to structure the Varnasrama. They will fall in the Varnasrama category.
And that could be 50% of the world.
No, not 50%. 50% of the mission has been achieved by establishing Krishna consciousness all over the world. That's what Prabhupada had done. Now what will happen, gradually, change will take place in the society. And eventually, finally, as I was saying, what will happen is the Krishna conscious kings will be ruling this planet. And the structure is like, there are many kings. Above those kings there is a monarch. And above all the monarchs is the sovereign ruler of the entire planet. For example, Parikshit Maharaj was not just an ordinary king. Parikshit Maharaj was the ruler of the entire earth planet. Shashagara Prithvi Adhishwar. Adhishwar, the ruler, predominating ruler of the entire earth planet, including the ocean. Sa Sagara. Sa means along with, Sagara means ocean. The earth planet, including the oceans. And not only Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, before that, Ambarish Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. So they all were the ruler of the entire earth planet. Haribol. So any other question? Yes.
There are lots of things that I don't understand in what your lecture has said. Not really understand. But the deficiency is mine. Okay? So it's not, please.
Yeah, sure.
But the thing that occurs to me is that there is something called dignity of labor. It doesn't matter what you do in this world, but as long as you do it with earnest endeavor, it should not be looked down on. So the Shudra's work is as valuable to society.
Did I say that Shudras will be looked down upon?
Well, I just...
Rather, I even mentioned, I'll repeat. The Sudras, like the youngest brother in the family, will be looked after by the other three members of the society. Do you look down upon the younger brother, or you shower your affection upon him? So that is the thing. Like, that is how he is. So let him be, let him do it, what he likes to do. And he is not so smart. But Sudras didn't mean that they were useless. You know who Sudras are?
Not really.
The music in the Vedic culture, the musicians, the artists, the dancers. In today's society, they are the most celebrated and individual. But in the Vedic society, they are considered to be the Sudras because they cannot independently decide what they need to do. They are guided. Okay.
But there's a big gap between the ideal and the reality. How do we go about moving closer to the ideal in our own mindset and how we approach things on a day-to-day
Okay,
practical
good point.
living?
There's a big gap between the ideal, between the ideas and the reality. So how do you fill up the gap? Keep on endeavoring. That's what I'm actually suggesting. Yes, there's a big gap. What we have today is the ideas, goals, objectives. But it has to be implemented. Then only it will become a reality. Right? So how will it happen? If we all just eat and sleep, will it happen? We have to endeavor. And that's why I said drops of water. Just as drops of water fill up the ocean, our endeavor towards that direction is going to make it happen. So we have to, no matter whatever our contribution may be, like we must strive to make that contribution. If it's just a small little thing, like if I can't motivate thousands of people, but at least if I can motivate my neighbor, right, let me try to do that.
The problem is even smaller than that. How do you motivate yourself?
Good point. Yeah, that's a very good.
That's where I'm at the moment.
Yeah.
Never mind everybody else.
And thanks for honestly admitting it. And that's a real problem, that is, yes. First you make yourself into a devotee. And purity is the force. In this way, as we generate purity in ourselves, our endeavors will generate its fruits, results. Because, best way to motivate others by your own example, right? Like oftentimes we will see, we don't even have to tell people. Just by seeing the way you are, people will become impressed, people will become motivated. Good point. So become a very good devotee. Alright?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, just want to clarify based on that 50% Varnasrama and other. So far we've been trying to make everyone a devotee in our preaching endeavors. So that means we have to be like conscious about their Varna and not force people with Kshatriya power into Shiva, but then encourage them to be good Kshatriya. Is that we have to start doing that subtle changes in our preaching methods?
No, what you are doing is just, making people aware of the spiritual culture. Through preaching, it's not that we are, today if you look at it, not that many devotees are living in a temple. Most of devotees are living outside. Most of devotees are working. Most of devotees are concerned about their livelihood. Right? But they have been motivated. Then gradually, as the movement progresses, then they will find their respective occupation. As ISKCON grows, as Krishna consciousness spreads, it will happen. Like today, come to think of it, most of the people are working. Few are running their own business. Right? But then how it will happen, people will become concerned about what they like to do. And they will do that. Like, say, when you are living in a city, then yes, you have to submit yourself to the social structure. You have to earn money, working hard. Money doesn't grow in trees. So you have to work from morning till night. But then gradually people will think, why am I just wasting my time working morning till night just to pay my bills to live in the city? So So why don't we find some situation where I don't really have to do that? That means, a group of devotees can go and acquire some large piece of land, and they start developing a community there, grow their own food. I don't know whether in the West it's going to be possible, but at least, it's very possible in India. Like so many devotees probably will think, why I'm wasting my time staying in London, working like a donkey. So from morning till night. Like, let me put whatever money I have earned, put it in the bank, and let me go to India, and from the interest that I'm getting from the bank, that will be enough for me. And if anybody wants to do that, you have an open invitation from Ujjain.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Just sort of expounding the concept a little bit further, when the state of Varnasrama is prevalent, will the Varnas be propagated from mother to daughter, father to son, or each soul?
Very good. Very good point. Very good point. So the question is, when this Varnashram is established, will this happen, according to the birth of the family? That's what your point is. When the perfect Varnashram is established, yes, that will happen that way. Because in that structure, what happens, when the social structure is proper, then the Brahminical souls will take birth from a Brahminical family, right? And so forth. Because that is the nature's way of doing things. But still, if there is some anomaly, if there is some discrepancy, then a Brahman's son, if he doesn't have the qualification of a Brahmana, will not be recognized as a Brahmana. So birth may be conducive to the Varna, but not the only criteria for Varna. Like for example, there had been many Brahmanas born in a Brahmana family, but they were not recognized as Brahmana. Like for example, all these demons, they're born in Brahmana families. Like Ravan was the son of a Brahmana. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, the most exalted Brahmana, Kashyapa. But they are not recognized as Brahmana. On the other hand, there have been instances where a prostitute's son, who even didn't know who his father was, has been accepted as a Brahmana because of his qualification. And to continue further in that, how that situation actually helps the family atmosphere, helps one to develop specific characteristics. Like say for example, a pot maker. His son, from his childhood, will be helping his father. He'll probably learn how to mix the clay, right? Quite playfully he will do that. Then he will learn how to make a pot, small playful playthings. And in this way, from his childhood, he will be trained up in that occupation, naturally. Similarly, a warrior's son, Kshatriya's son, from his childhood, from his father, he'll learn how to use weapons and fight and all that. So those days, that is how their education used to take place. The real occupation they learned. Even now in India, a businessman's son, from his childhood, learns how to run a business. Like in Calcutta, all the commerce colleges was in the morning. You know why? Because during the day, they would go and join their father's business, work in the father's business. They will study in the morning in the college, and then during the day, work with the father's business. Yes.
Guru Maharaj, you mentioned when speaking about the 50%, so we have if we're not a devotee, then we have to be in Varnasrama. And when mentioned about being a devotee, well, the devotees will have ISKCON. And you also mentioned, Guru Maharaj, that devotees are the pure, unmotivated devotees. So does that mean that devotees who are practicing sadhana bhakti, who are not pure, we also need to be situated in the Varnashram system?
You see, again, as I said, just by being born in a Brahmana family, one doesn't become a Brahmana. Similarly, just by joining ISKCON, one doesn't become a devotee in that sense. Right? Here I have to develop that characteristics, the nature. And as you say, sadhana bhakti, yeah, that's the practicing stage. But the intention has to be there. But yes, ISKCON is the structure. Those who will continue to stay serving in ISKCON, yes, they're Brahminical. They're devotees. And Prabhupada so many times mentioned that these are pure devotees. And at one point, some devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, is everyone in ISKCON a pure devotee? Prabhupada said, yes. Then he asked, Prabhupada, those new bhaktas who joined the other day, they're also pure devotees? Prabhupada said, yes. It's just a matter of green mango and ripe mango. If the mango may be green today, but if it stays in the tree, then in course of time it will become ripe. So you stay in ISKCON and die in ISKCON, right, yes, you'll be a pure devotee. But if you bloop from ISKCON, then it's bad luck. So stay in ISKCON. That's why our thing is, stay in ISKCON and make it a point to die in ISKCON. It'll be a glorious departure from this planet. Being surrounded by devotees, chanting, hearing the holy name. So that is what we must try to aspire for. Yes, Haribol. Minakirtan.
I've got two questions. Hamsaduta Prabhu started to form an ISKCON army.
What was that?
Hamsaduta.
Yeah.
He started to form an ISKCON army. Would that be necessary in the future to protect ISKCON? And also, you talked about the Kshatriyas as warriors. How would the Kshatriyas be in society?
Okay, so Minakirtan's question is, there is a leader in ISKCON at one time. His name was Hamsaduta Swami. He was forming an army. And so is that the kind of Kshatriya culture you mean?
Yeah.
Was that a kind of Kshatriya culture? No, that is an irresponsible move. Because you don't just, as I told you, in this democratic structure, you can't have the Kshatriyas. If you try to create Kshatriyas in the democratic culture, they'll end up at least becoming mafias. Right? And that's what was happening. They were behaving like a bunch of mafias. They were, right. He was actually very close to me. I mean, we were very close to each other. I mean, he was a very nice person. He helped ISKCON in a very wonderful way for many, many years. But he had guns, Swiss rifles, and they would be practicing shooting. Just so much so that the neighbors got worried and they reported to the police. And there was a big issue out of that at the time. So that is not the way to do it. Like, we have to understand that first we have to establish Krishna consciousness. And let's do things the way Prabhupada designed it. Let's not think that we know better than Srila Prabhupada. So we simply have to act within Srila Prabhupada's framework. Prabhupada never said raise an army. Because, someday we'll need it. But if we try to do it, it will be premature. As I said, like in democratic world, there is no room for an independent becoming too powerful and try to subdue others. Those who are doing it, they're either mafias or terrorists.
Guru Maharaj, in that respect, at the moment we see the Mohammedans, the Muslims in Syria and Iraq, that they want to establish their culture.
Anyway, we have nothing to do with what the Muslims are doing.
No.
Let's not waste our time thinking about what they're doing. That's not our objective. As I said, like, they're terrorists.
Maharaj, you mentioned about the Varnasrama system, but as within ISKCON we have what devotees are classified as Vaishnavas. Will they be considered as Vaishnavas in the Varnasrama system, or will they be
Who? The devotees.
Devotees, yeah, or will they be recognized as Sudras, Kshatriyas?
Yeah, the ISKCON devotees are not just Brahmanas in that sense.
Yeah.
ISKCON devotees are Vaishnavas. Their situation is above Brahmanas. And if they function as a Brahmana, then they're coming down from that platform. From Vaishnava platform, they're coming to Brahmanica platform. They can function as a Brahmana, they can function as a Kshatriya. Like Arjun, Parikshit Maharaj. They're actually Vaishnavas, but they're functioning as a Kshatriya. They're called Rajarshis, the saintly kings.
So for a Vaishnava, it's okay to fight for a purpose, as you mentioned,
Yeah,
to
Vaishnava
protect
can
the.
take up any.
Yeah.
Whatever Vaishnava's business is not according to his propensity.
Yeah. So,
Vaishnava's business is to please Krishna, serve Krishna. For the sake of serving Krishna, if that is necessary to take up the occupation of a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or even a Sudra, Vaishnava is prepared to take that.
thank you.
Yes, Radha Mohan.
Last question.
Yes.
I was thinking that, obviously, although it seems that democracy is not necessarily what we would call the correct system, it may be better than a corrupt monarch of previous centuries in Europe, but it might be the best thing they have. To what degree should devotees actually get involved in the sense that putting themselves forward as councillors or politicians and influencing the world in that way, as part of the mission, rather than waiting for democracy to suddenly phase out?
Good point. Very good point. Like, you see, devotees have to, as I said, go along with Srila Prabhupada's agenda. What the design, the structure that Srila Prabhupada gave. What did Prabhupada give? Prabhupada gave us Krishna consciousness. So yes, devotees can be involved in politics, right? But they have to be involved with Krishna conscious politics. Not joining this political party or that political party, right? Because when you join some political party, then you have to sing their tune. You have to follow their agenda, right? But there won't be any compromise between, us and them. Our thing is, therefore, eventually, or as the way I see it, eventually what will happen is there is going to be a Krishna conscious political party.
In God we trust.
In God we trust, in real way, not just in banknotes or currencies. So yes, and through your action that will be established. So that will be the political party, and that political party will have to establish the Varnasrama or whatever Srila Prabhupada wanted.
What would be a good name for that party?
Think of it.
It is probably a misapprehension on my part, but a version of Gita that I kind of remember listening to my grandmother, Lord Krishna, did he advise Arjuna that you must fight dispassionately? He was obviously thinking about his whatever relations, etc. So I'm just trying to reconcile the passion of the Kshatriyas. If that statement, my understanding, is anywhere near right, do you think that is what was said on the Kurukshetra battlefield?
No.
Okay.
Because you cannot fight dispassionately. On the other hand, Prabhupada is saying that when you are fighting, you have to be angry. I mean, Arjun, and can you imagine what it takes to shoot arrows at your grandfather? And not just one arrow or two arrows, series of arrows that practically covered his entire body. So that, and they pierced his body, so that when he fell, he didn't touch the ground. He was lying on a bed of arrows. So that is a Kshatriya. That is the mode of passion. Like when you get angry, okay, better everybody watch out. And that was Arjun's mood at that time. And that is actually not only Arjun, that was all the Kshatriyas. That's what happens when you are, predominantly influenced by the mode of passion. Have you seen a lion? That's Kshatriya becomes a lion, like a lion. Okay. Thank you all very much.